Today we've got a posterior session, really, upper posterior. We're going to do some back, rear delts and triceps. Modifying a little bit for the equipment here. We're going to do this semi-supinated, plate-loaded lats pull down. I like to do a bit of fluffy alternating to start with, just because it's a nice way to kind of like really feel the lats. You know, go unilateral just while we're ramping up that weight, and then we'll go bilateral, of course, to do the load. We'll find a good horizontal row to do as well. And I was going to do some cable shrugs with the close station, but these, as we found out last time, for us short asses, these guys have like a really high attachment for the lowest attachment. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do a shrug machine, get some upper traps going, because haven't put much through them in a long time. Rear delts on the machine fly, and triceps will probably hit up some dips with probably an overhead cable rope.
What's on your mind?
That part. That part.
You always ask me what's on my mind. I actually just had a client who, she was coming into financial trouble and she couldn't work with me anymore. We still had more work to do. Like, I realized like, nah, we haven't done the thing to really fix and help her. I said, I'll coach you for free for a period of time while you get back on your feet, so you can still realize and actualize the results and the progress that you were making, because I feel like some of these people, if I just cut it off for them and have that line in the sand, some of them will fall off, and I feel responsible for that. That's what's on my mind. When people kind of need support and can't justify it financially, is just to help them out regardless of money.
What are you focusing on while you're doing this?
I'm focusing on not having a super tight grip, so I can drive less irradiation and tension through my forearms and more through my back. I'm thinking about a pause at the end of range. I'm thinking about having as much stability as possible with the seat and the chest support, so I can drive as much of a contraction through my back as possible without other things taking over.
Alex executes this movement a little bit differently to me. You'll see, like,
I have a little bit of language.
Yeah, he has a bit of language going on.
Ben doesn't
Trying to keep
love
up
the language.
Trying to keep up the weights, I think.
Consciously trying to engage my spinal erectors. I actually feel a better contraction when I come into a little bit of extension, particularly through my lat, just like that. And I think if I stay consistent and I'm not like changing every rep, right, then I can stay within that range of body language safely and effectively. I'm finding a really good hack for you when you're in a surplus. Intra-training carbohydrates. Put honey, maple syrup, dextrose monohydrate in your drink when you're training. You barely even notice it. You have no satiation effect. A really good way to add 60 to 100 grams plus extra carbs per day. Ease the burden of high calorie surpluses with low fat, high carb. Going from a high pull position to now a horizontal vector. You change the vector, the line of pull, you change the muscle recruitment pattern. So if you have back-to-back back or arm or any same muscle group, you can change the position of the pull to change the recruitment pattern of the muscles. We're training different muscles in a different order to create a more well-developed, well-rounded individual strength profile and hypertrophy profile.
Why have they skimmed this?
They're running out of plates.
No, these are short pins. These are actually short pins. This is a bit silly.
There's a lot of female influencers in the fitness industry, coaches. They got either arse implants or they're on steroids, and these girls have no idea, and they are comparing their figure and looking up to these women. You know, guys are on, obviously steroids. It's very common within males to understand this. It's not common for females to understand female influencers and models are on some type of performance enhancing drug. It fucks up the image of what people think is attainable.
The fitness industry is a easy target in that, because guess who's been doing that before the fitness industry was doing it? Cosmetics, man. We're no specialist in like cosmetics or any sort of any part of that industry. Fitness industry just makes a big fat target. What's the chances of that staying on?
It's all good. Some people stack paper, Ben stacks plates.
That's the Instagram meta, low reps.
There's some pretty smart people making relatively logical arguments.
There's smart people making clicks. The position is like lower reps in the rep ranges rather than higher reps for getting to the more effective reps, those being kind of like the last 5 within a given set to failure. or close proximity to that being more worthwhile than engaging in longer sets with more reps because of that. But there's a case for and against, which is why, like, everyone has times when there's low reps and high reps, and you know, you can undulate through those. Because if I was to do biceps curls with nothing but like six reps, I know what would happen. Like very soon, like my wrists and elbows would be screaming. Do you know what I mean? So like it's particular exercises in which that doesn't lend itself to a lot of longevity with like things like my joints. Yeah, look, I'm not happy with that. He's kind of like rounding in, if anything, rather than kind of like. So, dude, what I'll do is just like you're coming through and kind of going in through here. I'll just kind of set yourself up, maybe even lean forwards a little bit. Just prop it so you got back there. So you can kind of like help those shoulders go a little bit behind the head. See, I still don't like it. You can do it. You can finish it off. You can finish it off. I still don't like it, right? So this is the exact reason why I don't think this is a good exercise selection for some people. Despite lowering the load, knowing what he's going to do, he's an experienced trainer, still not pulling how I want him to pull on that, which is why I would have had us down on the double cable station to do this, because I know that by placing his body where I wanted it, in line with the cables, that I could not run into this as a problem.
You're a failure.
The way that I was warming up just then is actually like a vertical grip on this machine, but you can see the handles, they're really wide, right? So it's like your end range is somewhere kind of out here if you're grabbing the vertical handles. So you see me just kind of like give myself some padding on the back of my knuckles. I'm actually just on the inside of the beam rather than the handles themselves, and I can handle that for probably like kind of like leading up, maybe the first work set actually like that as well, and then I'll shift into that pronated grip, that kind of knuckles up grip, traditional handles, and just go from there as well. We want to be able to get that, you know, elbow back. We want to be thinking like wide as we're doing the movement as well, not just trying to push the shoulder blades or anything like that.
We're talking about how sometimes people feel like they have to sacrifice training and their health in order to progress in business and entrepreneurship. You can make a case and an argument that training and health and exercise is a wealth generating tool. It's a wealth generating activity, and that the healthier you are, the stronger you are, the fitter you are, but just the physiological benefits you get from training and health have downstream consequences to better cognition, better decision making, more confidence in yourself. When The Rock walks in the room, or when someone as jacked as Ben walks in the room, you know automatically that this guy, without him even saying a word, you know he's disciplined, you know he can delay instant gratification, and he can be very consistent, because that's what it takes to build that type of body, physique, and strength. So your body speaks a language, and it exudes communication, which can help you in business and entrepreneurship, I believe. I'm squeezing it. I used to never be able to laugh and do this at all, man. Like, I've really changed like how like when I'm training, like there's a seriousness to it, but I feel like my training performance has gotten so much better, and my quality of life when I've allowed myself to experience joy and fucking smile, man. As much as Goggins inspires me and Jocko Willink inspires me, I feel like we try and become caricatures of these people. We try to adopt them. I'm like, man, if you want to smile and laugh, do it. Come on, boy. I used to really get in the weeds about training and the complexity of science, about training smart. You know, as I've gone on through the years, training for over a decade now, I'm like, it's very, very simple to me. Train hard, consistently, over and over again, close to failure. We're talking about all these nuances. They relatively do not matter compared to the big rocks. I credit strength culture. Like, they've really kind of forced me to be less obsessed about the nerd shit.
So it's very busy here right now. I would have liked to have done a overhead rope tricep extension, but because I'm a little bitch and I like to brace myself with like one of the poles, like so I jam my foot back into the pole behind me and jam my ass on the pole to lock myself in that overhead position. You can't do that when you're on the end of these multi-station setups. So I'm just not going to do it because I just end up bracing, like trying to find my brace, and I'm just going to use far less load. It's going to be shit exercise. So we're just going to do a regular tricep press down with a cambered bar here and finish off the session.
Lots. There we go. How many people you annoy? Allah.
21 sandals.
21 sandals.
It's really about problem solving, right? Yeah. So because this is like exact the problem that like a client has. They come into a gym and they don't have like the exercise equipment available to them. So a lot of discussions you have as a coach is like, hey, okay, if you don't have this, this is plan B, this is plan C. You know what I mean? The last thing we want is like, again, like I wouldn't have him doing the machine shrug here, having seen what I saw today. Just wouldn't program it.
And how many clients do we have where they're doing stuff that we're blind to?
Yeah.
We're blind to, they're not sending the videos, or like we don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I don't really care. Like, I know I'm going to get back into training.
I've made an adjustment here with the tricep extension to get less trunk, less core. I've gone more of an upright position instead of here, because if I'm here, the moment arm to my trunk and core is a lot higher. So the lever is longer there. Here it's much shorter. So less core, more tricep. Me and Ben finishing off a great upper body day, a tricep, back, shoulder day. It's been a while since we've done this. It just goes to show that training with somebody, particularly someone bigger, stronger, better than you, is one of the best gateways and keys to success, to getting better, because you become the people you surround yourself with. And if you're that wolf trying to climb to the mountaintop, you want to surround yourself with wolves already on that mountaintop, who are already far ahead of you. Because then you start chasing them. You go faster, further, and you learn from their mistakes. So that's the purpose of these sessions. Hopefully inspire you guys and learn from the wolves climbing that mountain.